Here we are back at it once again. I have the myth, the man, Uncle Fred, here for a wonderful rant as yes sir, as we recap the NFL Week 1
How you doing
pick'ems.
today, man? You good?
I'm doing good, man. How you? How about yourself?
You good, man? Looking all fresh, man.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. I call it like I see it, man. I call it like I see it.
Well, man, listen, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's a good day to be alive, man. So,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
absolutely, absolutely.
All jokes aside. Oh, yes, sir. That's right. That's
For
right.
sure, man. So I want to jump right in. Let's have some
Let's get
fun
it.
with it for our viewership. Philly at
All I can
Atlanta.
say, man, is wow. That's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
No,
gonna say, man.
that
Wow.
that game, along with several others, is the wow factor. I mean, it's the NFL, man.
Right.
Right? Week 1, they come right out, punches in the mouth with excitement, and give
Yes.
us some results that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. So
No.
let's jump in, man. Let's jump in.
All
So we
right. Where you
got
gonna start? Where you want to start?
Philly at Atlanta. So 32-6 result, man. I'll let you jump in. That was a surprising one, a puzzler.
Hey man, look, I didn't see that coming.
Nah.
I know we think we like little crack, crack analysts. You take your intel. You listen to the talking boxes. They say that Philly's in disarray. You got off the GM and the head coach and the owners. It's kind of disconnects. All kind of this kind of stuff going on. You got a quarterback that started 3 games. And then you're going against a team at their building, veteran quarterback, veteran receivers. They kind of, been around. I don't think they're a great team, but I think they kind of had their, together better than Philly did. So that's why, I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, this is one of the games where I'm glad I was wrong. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense. I picked it like I picked it, but I'm glad I was wrong because I felt like that maybe Jalen might not. It might take him a few games to kind of get, get his feet under him to kind of, hey, you are the starting quarterback now,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But brother had some poise, man. Oh my gosh, I was so proud of him. Roll Tide.
He looked
I was
good.
so proud of
He
him.
looked good, man.
His poise.
He
He
looked
go,
good.
nobody's open. Let me get about 8, 9, 10 yards, a couple of spin moves. And, next play, looking off a guy, coming back over to this guy. I think I got his stats here. Look like 27 for 35 for like 264, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Commanded the game well.
Very decisive.
Jalen Rager played well.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith played well.
Yeah.
Defense, oh my gosh. I thought Atlanta had an offensive line. Man, it was all in Matt Ryan's grill. Oh, So now I got to flip the script. So now I'm thinking Atlanta maybe they'll go 4-13 because that did not look like a good product that they put out on the field.
No, definitely not to open the season, man. Especially with the high optimism for Calvin Ridley to take a step forward and be the number 1 guy on offense. The obvious at tight end.
Yeah.
Who Philadelphia did a really good job containing for the most part, by the way.
Yeah.
I just think Atlanta, I won't stay long on these guys, man. Questionable offensive approach. I'm really interested to see going forward what they do with their run game, and whether or not they're able to establish that and open up, some things down the field. But just a stinker, just to keep it short and sweet, a real stinker from Atlanta. So Philly,
Matt
like
Ryan,
you said,
Matt Ryan, 164 yards, bro. Really?
Yeah.
That's not gonna get it done, man. That's just not gonna get it done. With the weapons you got, it's not gonna get it done. Hats off to the Philadelphia defense, though, because they played some good. They played great defense, and that made me forget. Philly do play some good defense, so that's that. 32-6.
That's that, man. I mean, like you said, great poise from Jalen. Looked really good. Very excited to see what he and Devontae can do over time throughout the course of the season. Devontae did a good job showing he can get off the line, which is people's main concern and wanting to see him succeed is whether or not he'll consistently get off the line. But he did well in week 1, so overall good result for them. Not so much in the NFC East race. I know that's one of the teams you're competing against. But hey, man, good win for Philly. Came out, punch Atlanta in the mouth. Got a win on the road. So we'll jump in to the next game. A surprising result, man. And I remember my score prediction was way off on this one because you told me it would be. Pitt at Buffalo. Pitt gets the win on the road. It was definitely a defensive clash all game long, all evening long. So I have these high hopes for Josh Allen. I'm on the bandwagon, as I've said before, and I want to feel like he ran into a steel curtain, but he'll be fine. But he'll be fine going forward. But just on this day, he ran into one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they came out and really asserted themselves. So I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember on my Pick'em show, I said I would not be surprised if Pittsburgh got them.
Yeah,
I think I may have said that on the tail end of
that.
Yeah. Because I felt like, and I'm not taking anything away from Josh Allen. I think that kid's talented. I think that kid can do what he wants to do. But you know how I am. Us old fogies are about like giving people too much too soon.
Right.
And I think a lot of times you got to go through the, I guess you say the struggles. You got to go through the challenge before you get to the mountaintop. And I'm not trying to be too nostalgic on you with that.
Yeah.
I felt like Pittsburgh, and I'm gonna say this. I think the Steelers got the best defense in football right now. I think I can't argue with that.
They're stacked, man.
That's a bad dude with bad intentions, man.
They're stacked.
He's coming after you.
Okay? They're stacked.
He's coming after you. And I thought maybe they didn't put Josh Allen in the best of situations. I mean, he threw it 51 times.
Yeah.
That's not the best game plan for me. Not against that defense.
Not exactly. Not against that defense, especially when you know pretty much if you're not able to move the ball early, you kind of realize what kind of game this is going to be.
Yeah.
So you got to start choosing to establish the run at that point, and I don't think they ever did that. So that's something to watch going forward. I mean, I know 50 attempts in today's NFL may seem like scoring 20 in the NBA. Like, okay, well, a lot of people do it, but in certain in certain instances, not so much. This is certainly one of those games where, that's a team you kind of want to try to establish something against on the run and sort of create some offensive balance. Especially with them having a star-like player at every level of the defense. You look at Watt, you look at Bush, you look at Fitzpatrick. I mean, you got a star at every level. So that's they're going to be tough to deal with, and they may not be able to push the ball as much as you would like, but their defense will keep them in it. They'll be a team that wins games you maybe thought they wouldn't. There'll also be a team that just can't score enough points at the end of the day. But there'll be an interesting team to watch going forward.
And I'm sorry, let me cut you off.
No, you're fine.
And I thought Ben did just enough.
Yeah.
He did just enough. Deontay Johnson, that pass he caught in the left corner of the end zone, caught it, lost it, recaught it, got his feet down. That was a good play, man.
Yes, it was.
And another thing, people don't look at special teams. That's part of the game.
It always is.
Kind of we just kick it and run it back and whatever. No, you better take that stuff seriously, man. Block punting for a touchdown. I think that was one of the turning points of the game.
Absolutely.
Because I think that got Pittsburgh going in the fourth quarter, scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, held Buffalo to 6. I think Buffalo kind of if you looked at how the game is flowing early, they were getting some nice runs with Singletary, and then it looked like they's like, hey, man, this is our MVP candidate. We got to kind of make him be the MVP. But sometimes you got to kind of play the game how it's being given to you.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, the goal is to win the game, not get style points. That's something Mike Tomlin was talking about in the press conference. Sometimes it's better to win the game based on how the game is being presented to you. If they're giving you fronts where you're successful running the football, you might want to do that. Then take your shots. Take your shots when you can. But you're giving T.J. Watt and Bush 51 attempts to get to your quarterback. I just don't like your chances. But that's a good win for Pittsburgh. I still think Buffalo's going to still win 13 games, 12, 13 games. So I think everything's still on schedule. But, Pittsburgh let the world be on notice that their defense is something to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I couldn't agree more. I mean, very impressed by Pittsburgh's defensive performance Sunday. Not too much else to say about it. There'll be for me, they've become an interesting team for me to keep up with as the season progresses because of that defense. How many wins can that defense steal? Especially in that division. That's something that I want to keep up with. But like you said, I agree. Buffalo, they'll win a lot of games, man. Just humbling lesson. Week 1.
Just ran into a buzzsaw.
Yep. Okay, next, man. We've got one. I'm puzzled, man. Confuzzled, whatever people want to call it, man. Minnesota at Cincinnati. This was a weird one. I'll let you take it, man.
I don't know what I think about that one, man. I don't know if Minnesota is like, wow, man, you couldn't beat Cincinnati, or is Cincinnati starting to put some things together? Because, I mean, before Burrow got hurt last year, we were kind of saying, hey, that kid got some moxie, man, and if you can just get him a little help, get him a little help on his offensive line, give him something to throw to him, maybe get some defense, just a little bit of defense where he's not, on the feet, he's not having to score 35 every game, that kid got some moxie, man. And I'm gonna say this too, man. And I love to see people bounce back. That's one of the things I love. I love to see kids bounce back. Jamar Chase caught HE-double hockey sticks over his preseason. I was one of them that was giving it to him. I didn't think he should have got drafted before Devontae, but that's neither here nor there. He caught HE-double hockey sticks in the preseason. I don't think he caught a pass. Every pass he went to him, he dropped. And so, 5 catches, 101 yards, a touchdown. That's what we thought we was going to see from him coming out of LSU when he played with Burrow. That's kind of what we thought we would see: the athleticism, the route running, the being able to make contested catches, run after the catch, all that stuff. Those are the things we thought we were going to see. He missed a year. He sat out a year at LSU. So when the COVID year, so he sat out, and we didn't know what we was going to get coming back. Sometimes when you miss a year, you kind of. But man, that was a nice. Joe Mixon, 29 carries, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Ran the ball good. Defense, Bates. What's the other kid's name? The other safety. Those guys, those are some hitters, man. They laid the wood, caused a late fumble by one of my guys, man. The running back for Minnesota, that's one of my guys, man.
Dalvin Cook.
I feel like he's. I didn't hear you.
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I can't recall names like that, man. When you get my age, you'll see what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Dalvin Cook. Bates came in, laid the wood on him, laid the ball down in overtime. They get the field goal. Bengals win. Yeah. Minnesota scratching their head right now, so I don't know what to think about that one, but that's a great win if you're the Bengals. That's a great win.
Yeah, I mean, it's, great way to start their season. You touched on all the points, man. Jamar came out. He showed early and often. He's the guy that you think he is. natural rapport with Burrow, which helps. Being the last quarterback he actually had success with, literally. So, it's a peanut butter jelly type situation. He looked yeah. He looked good, man. He looked good. He can catch the ball, contrary to reports. And I just, for Cincinnati, man, I'm just kind of wondering, is that a team that gets a good win in week 1 and then goes on and loses 4 in a row? What kind of team are we looking at? So I wouldn't take too much from that win other than, like you said, fortune was on their side Sunday, and they got a fumble and they took advantage and got out of there with a win. Yeah. But if you're Minnesota, that's got to be disappointing, to drop that game. But
let me jump in and say this.
Yeah.
I got some flack from some people from some of the picks that I made. From people I talked to and whatnot, and a couple of them were like, "Yeah, okay, please you pick that one." I'm like, and I come back with them. So, oh, you had Cincinnati over Minnesota? Oh no, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many people did.
You gonna give me, you know what, for picking Atlanta over Philly, but you had Minnesota losing to Cincinnati?
Yeah. Nah, I don't think so.
Anyway, I just had to throw that in. That's what makes the NFL great, man, because you just never know what you're gonna get on any given Sunday, man. That's what makes it great.
Sure.
You just never know.
Case in point.
You just never know.
So, the next game here, interesting, man, because of the way it started as opposed to the way it ended. San Francisco at Detroit. Now, this game starts out the way I think we both kind of predicted. San Francisco, pummeling Detroit pretty handily. Saw it at the bottom of my ticker early and often. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Lo and behold, check back in a quarter and a half later. It's like, Detroit fall back in this one, man. But I don't know if that's a lot of filler. If that's a lot of filler, just trying to get back in the game, in a game that you've been down for the most part in it. But either way, I guess it reflects better that they fought back. San Francisco looked really good. I'll let you take it, man. I mean, it's kind of a clean result for me.
I'm kind of half 75% in agreement with you. I'm kind of giving San Francisco the gas face, kind of like, you up 41-14, 41-7 in the fourth or something to that effect. And I'm like, yeah, we picked that one pretty good. You look up, it's 41-13. Okay, look up, it's 41-20. Okay, look up, it's 41-20. Okay, this is the NFL. You really can't take teams for granted. Everybody's got pros. I know we don't think the Lions are that talented, but them guys get paid too.
Absolutely. Respect to them.
They get paid too. And they kind of made some gaffes in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. Kyle Shanahan's kind of getting a reputation for not being able to close games out. Some of it's his fault. Play design, play calls. Some of it is execution by his players. Deebo Samuels, you cannot be fumbling first down catches with like a minute left, and which could have sealed the game. Fumbled the ball. Lions get the ball back. They just ran out of downs. They could have easily tied that game up. So if I'm San Francisco, I'm not really beating my chest. I'm like, yeah, we won that one, but we got a lot to clean up after that game. If I'm the Lions, man, that's what you like to see, a team that don't quit. I don't know how many games they're gonna win. I don't think they're that talented. But I like their fight. At the end of the day, you want a team that's gonna fight. I don't know if you bite kneecaps or whatever they did, but they kept fighting, kept scrapping, kept biting, kept clawing, and had San Francisco kind of like nervous there for a second. But San Francisco gets the win, and they move on, and we'll see what they do. But yeah, San Francisco got some stuff to clean up.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that's a win.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one just demonstrates the fabric of the coaches. Dan Campbell wants to be a fighter. He wants his team to fight, and I think case in point, here you go. They clawed back and they made it respectable. So, and on the other side, Kyle Shanahan showed his wizardry, and San Francisco is going to be able to put up a lot of points on a lot of teams, and they're going to rely on having a stable defense that can, sort of keep teams at bay once they run it up. So they'll be interesting. One thing I did feel, and we're going to segue, there's a team in their division, man, that I'm really tempted to jump out the window with. You know where I'm going with this one.
I know who that is.
Arizona at Tennessee. So,
yeah.
As you know, and maybe the viewership picked up on, Titan fan here, who had to endure the Kyler Murray mixtape all Sunday long. So, there's a couple moments in this game, man, and I'll point them out specifically. You have a moment where he's eluding, he's scrambling. He puts Jeffrey Simmons, who, if people may not know, Jeffrey Simmons is probably our best defensive player. Puts him in a blender in space. Mixtape collar. And has another situation, and he completes the pass, I should say. He completes the pass to Rondale Moore, who I want to sort of toot my own horn, man. I really felt like they're gonna find ways to get Rondale involved. I really think, on paper it may not seem as though, but knowing that guy and how explosive he is, man, they didn't draft him for nothing. They're gonna find ways in like a Percy Harvin mode just to get him the ball, and they did that. They did that early, and they targeted him early, and then they found ways to successfully get him the ball as the game went on. And I think it became pretty clear he's going to be way more of a factor on that offense than people may have presumed heading into the season. But nevertheless, man, Kyler Murray, I'm jumping out the window, man. I really think because of him and his ascension, I think he's ready to take this big leap that, I guess you could call it the Josh Allen leap in a sense, where you go from being the guy that can be to being the guy that, like, okay, he's there. And I really think Kyler's that guy this season. I just, what I saw from him, man, and how he was able to manipulate a defense that, and I'm going to get to them because I have a lot of criticism for them, but, nevertheless, Kyler did so well showing almost like a veteran savvy of like, here's how you pick apart a questionable secondary, or here's how you pick apart a secondary that just came together. I mean, it was pitch and catch. They looked great. To me, that's the best division in football. The NFC West is going to be a dog fight battle all season. And to me, the Cardinals showed offensively and defensively, they're going to battle. They're going to score, and they're going to get a good pass rush. So, I mean, between that, Byron Murphy and Marco Wilson on the outside, that's a young cornerback duo that they showed me a lot Sunday. Buda Baker's on the back end. He's going to make plays. He's going to be involved. He's a stud, man. I mean, you look at everything from Simmons at linebacker. He's so versatile and fast and big. Just saw him involved in so many plays. And listen.
Better say who you need to be saying.
I saved the best for last, I guess.
Okay.
Listen, man. The way Chandler Jones abused Taylor Lewan and Kendall Lamb.
Who is a great offensive tackle. Let's put that out
Yes,
there. That's not some guy they just picked up off the scrap heap. Taylor Lewan is a Pro Bowl tackle.
Taylor Lewan, Pro Bowler, general consensus, one of the better left tackles in the game, coming off an ACL injury. And
right.
I mean,
that is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Chandler Jones. It wasn't just because you don't just get the 5 sacks. So the way he got to the sacks, the swim move, the up and under, the bull rush, the power, the ability to move Taylor and the backup off of their spots and just, I'm going to swim around you, I'm going to come through you, straight through you, get you out of here. It was a master class performance, and it's something that, for the viewership, if you do get a chance, if there's a replay of this on NFL Network or something like that, just go watch the brilliance of Chandler Jones on Sunday, man. I mean, because when we're talking about a defensive end, this is why you pay guys in a sense. He took over that game. Like his ability to get off the edge changed the dynamic of that game. In a game where you're feeling like, okay, because that's how I felt going into it. I feel like a lot of people did. This is going to be a shootout, man. It's two teams. Offensively, they're going to be able to put up points, and defensively, both are a question mark. We want to see what both have to offer. So for me, it felt like that's kind of signals like a 38-35 thriller. Well, one team held their end of the bargain. One team held their end.
Yeah.
The other team had a guy on the other side, man, that changed the game. Chandler Jones, single-handedly won that game for Arizona with his ability to get pressure off the edge. It changed Tennessee's entire game plan. And he just came out and just punched them in the mouth, man. And that was one of the more impressive displays I've ever seen in terms of a defensive player changing a game. It was amazing, man. J.J. Watt looked really good as well. He got bull rush pressure too. I just think that was a referendum to show, from Arizona's standpoint, hey man, look, what we're gonna do offensively. DeAndre Hopkins has been, ripping to shreds Tennessee cornerbacks for years because he's just that good. It's no disrespect to them. It's just more of a respect to him and his game. So that wasn't a surprise. Even when he was scoring, he was finding the ball. That's what he does. He does that well against Tennessee. I fully expected that, honestly. But their ability, or Kyler Murray's ability to get everybody involved, Chase Edmonds and James Conner moving the ball effectively on the ground. I think, and I also think A.J. Green's healthy. So I think, he wasn't as involved in this game as he will be going forward. But said to say, on the opposite side, man, you do have a legit number 2 in A.J. And you've got Christian Kirk in the slot, and you got Rondale, who's going to line up everywhere, and they're going to find ways to get him the ball. They're going to score, man. They're going to score a lot of points. I don't want to keep harping here. Tennessee, man, Taylor didn't look healthy. He looked like a guy. He looked like a guy that's still trying to regain his footing. He looked like a guy that was trying to regain his footing. So a very rough evening for him, but it's just one he's already acknowledged himself. So it's just kind of got to look past it now and recognize that you got a dog fight in the same division coming up here in a few days. So got to have a quick memory, move on. There's a lot of things that could be said. I just don't want to harp, man. That secondary looked very questionable. A positive. I thought Bud Dupree looked really good setting the edge, which noticeable on, when you're watching the game. It's just noticeable how he's setting the edge, something that we kind of wished Jadeveon Clowney would bring us last season. So Bud seems from game one, he didn't necessarily get to Kyler, but Kyler's hard to get to. but setting the edge against other quarterbacks, yeah. Being able to set that edge, man, is really important. He did a really good job of that. So I like that. I saw Kevin Byard get beat a couple times, and that's kind of, we expect more from him, being one of the better safeties in the league. But hey, man, it's a rough game, so I won't hold us anymore with this one.
Well, I don't have much to add to that, man. I think you pretty much covered that one from the rooter to the tutor, man. Only thing I came away from that game was a Chandler Jones.
That's it, man.
Only thing I can think of, man. And he played like a dude that looked like he want to get paid.
Yeah, and yeah.
I just say that.
Yeah, I mean.
And his teammates want him to get paid.
Absolutely.
Did you not see every time he got a sack, his teammates up.
Absolutely.
Count that man out his money.
Absolutely. Cash him out, man. Cash him out.
Not only did he have 5 sacks, he had 2 forced fumbles.
Exactly. And we talk about we talk about a guy wrecking a game plan on the defensive side. That was example A of how you pay a defensive player. No,
Chandler Jones was a good pass rush. Did not see him doing.
You can't project that, and that's the beautiful thing, like, about that performance, man. You can't project a guy coming in, getting 5 sacks, forcing 2 fumbles, and just changing the entire approach of the other team. You can't see that coming. Right. So amazing, unless it may be Aaron Donald, maybe. But aside from that, it's just like.
Derrick Henry, 17 carries, 58 yards.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that they couldn't establish the run. But like I said, once Chandler Jones has his ears pinned back and he's charging and bull rushing, it's a shock to the other side. I just think they, at one point, they just were in shock, and you could see it. Like, what are we gonna do, man? Because this guy's getting off the edge so fast. We can't run an offense. So, it's like, man, I just think that's something to keep in mind going forward. As far as our left tackle position in Arizona, they did well in every asset of the game. No need to keep dwelling on it. So many positives for them. But Titans.
I'm with you, Vic, man, 'cause I know that's your team.
Yeah. But I won't hold us up, man. We not here for all of that. We not here for all of that.
Get it out, brother. Get it out.
Yeah, this is a bad loss, man. It's a bad loss. And I want to I want to really see us get AJ Brown involved next week. AJ Brown's a star, man. He's a star. And I just really want year 3 for him, with Julio on the other side drawing coverage. I just really want AJ to blossom even more so than he already has, but to really establish, man, he is, if not the, top 3 premier young receivers, man. He's really good, man. So, but that's it for the Titans in this game, man. Let's move forward. Seattle at Indy. Kind of expected what I saw here, to be honest. I'm going to go with the better quarterback in this game, and I did, and I think you did as well. So, I'll let you take it from here. I just went on the whole spiel.
I really don't have a whole lot to say about this game. I thought Russell, the one thing that came to my mind when I thought about his performance in that game was efficient.
Yes.
18 for 23, 254, 4 touches, no interceptions, no turnovers. Just I like to say not say blue collar, but just another day at the office. They did what they were supposed to do.
They did.
They didn't really let Indianapolis in the game. Carson Wentz, dude, you got to show me something. I didn't. I think, like when you got people that, okay, I got a problem with this. Okay, well, we'll change that for you. And you get that. And then it's like, well, I got a problem with that. Okay, you change that. Well, at some point, you kind of run out of, I don't know if you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But it's only one game. So let me carried away, but I would have thought I would have seen better than that from him. But I know he's overcoming some stuff. He overcame an injury, and he got on the list, and there's some other things going on and whatnot. He really wasn't supposed to play in game one, but I think he pushed it so that he could play in game one. I mean, he was okay, but you know, that's all I can say. He was all right. Nothing special. I think he had like 250 yards and maybe a touchdown or something.
Yeah. Respectfully, man. That's kind of one of those guys. You just got to show me, man. I don't have many expectations for him or that offense, to be honest. It's just one of the things, man. We need to see it. We need to see it from them. That's it, man. That's all I have for those guys. Totally expected Russell Wilson to go in there and steal one, and that's what happened. So, we'll wait for you to reconnect, man.
Yeah, we're good.
You back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I hear you.
Gotcha.
I'm good, man.
So yeah, man.
You hear me?
Yeah, you good, man. We're still here, Seattle, Indy.
Yeah.
A result we both saw coming. Really, not much surprising there. Indy has the LA Rams coming up. Seattle has Tennessee, so I think those two games will also be more of an indicator of what these two teams may be. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. So we got Los Angeles Chargers at Washington football team. I felt like Justin Herbert was going to go in there and get it, man, and they got it done. So
you called it. You called that one.
Yeah, man. But I'll let you take it from here.
Dap on that one. You called that one. My key stat on that one, TK.
Yeah.
The Chargers were 14 for 19 on third downs. You're supposed to be one of the better defenses. You got Chase Young. You got Jonathan Allen. You got defensive. You're supposed to be getting pushed up front. Deron Payne. You got some guys, man. That's supposed to be one of the better defenses, especially in the front seven.
Montez Sweat, don't forget about him.
Gave up 14 for 19 on third down. That's like 70%. You're not going to win many games when you're giving up that kind of third down conversion percentage. I thought Justin Herbert was poised. Fourth quarter behind, had a game-winning drive. I was kind of like, ease up on pump the brake. Like Parcells said, hold the anointing oil on the kid, But that kid showed me something.
He's good, man.
We got to see him Sunday.
He's good.
That's a good win for the Los Angeles Chargers, man. And Washington, your offense didn't look good. Of course, we know Fitzpatrick got a hip injury, like in the first or second quarter early in that game. They went with Tyler Heineke. He was okay. Really not much else to say about that. That's a good win for the Chargers. Washington, you might gotta, be looking at some things here. Is your defense as good as you said it is? They got some things.
I think so. I think so, man. I think, my takeaway wouldn't be this front seven with Sweat on the outside and Chase Young on the outside.
Yes.
And you got Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen bull rushing on the inside. They're going to create pressure. They're going to give other teams a long night. So
we got to start giving credit for it. Give the Chargers offensive line.
Yeah, they have a really solid offensive line. They do. Yeah, they have a really solid offensive line, and not to mention, Justin Herbert has one of the better receiving corps in the NFL. He has Mike Williams on the outside. He has a security blanket in Keenan Allen you can always go to. having the tools he has on offense, to me, it's just like, man, Dallas will have their hands full. They're going to have their hands full with that.
And I think folks are like sleeping on the Chargers on the defensive end. I know they know about Bosa, but do you know about Derwin James? Do you know about Chris Harris Jr.?
Yeah.
Do you know about Asante Samuel Jr.?
Yeah.
Do you know about them guys?
Yeah.
They got some studs back there, man.
Yeah.
They got some studs back there, man. We're going to be seeing them all Sunday. Yeah,
man. You're right. And, for Washington, just to summarize here, I don't know, man. I think with Fitzpatrick going down, and even, honestly before that, but with him going down now and just choosing to go with Taylor Heinicke, I believe. I want to say Heinicke.
Yeah.
It gives me the vibe like, man, do you just bite the bullet and call Cam? Or do you bite the bullet?
That's what I would think too.
Do you bite the bullet and call up to Chicago and ask, for that guy who's won a Super Bowl before, who didn't even dress week 1?
Yeah.
It's like, man, with that defense, which I still, despite this result, I still expect that defense to be one of the better units in the NFL. And you have skill position players on offense that can move the ball. Like you really, if you're Washington, you really have an opportunity to win your division. And so it's like, do you really want to give up games early in the season going?
No, they ain't winning the division.
And that's fair to say, because coming from the Cowboy fan, I fully expect that. But it's like, from the outside perspective, my perspective is like, hey, that defense is probably the best unit in that division. And offensively, you have enough pieces to where it's like a sturdy quarterback could get you over the top in that division, or at least give you that fighting shot with Dallas, and being able to see them twice. And it's just like, I don't know if you want to be dropping games early in the season trying to go with the young guy and then, fall to a 1-4 or something. Now you're scrambling like, okay, I kind of feel like, we'll see.
Now you want to call Cam.
We'll see, man. And, if they really trust the guy and want to go with him, I respect it. But for me, just on the outside looking in, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to feel like that in a few weeks.
We'll see.
We'll see, man. But, all right. The New York Football Jets at the Carolina Panthers. The Sam Darnold Bowl. I don't have much here. Expected Sam Darnold to get it done. Zach Wilson's first start. Hey, man, 2 young quarterbacks. I expected Sam to win. Carolina has a better team, in my opinion. I'm really done with this one.
That game, I wonder if Sam Darnold went to Zach Wilson. And I don't know if the line and the 5 heartbeats and coming with Eddie Kane, how does it feel to be me? But,
yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I like to think I'm a comedian. I'm not.
Hey, man, that's a good one-liner. It's gonna land. Trust me. When people watch, it's gonna land.
Good game for Sam Darnold. Very solid. 24-35, 279, a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, 21 carries, 98 yards, but 9 catches for 89 yards. That's like almost 200 yards of total offense. That's what
C-Mac's a beast.
Getting that guy unleashed, that kind of opens up some things.
C-Mac is a beast.
That kid's special, man.
Yes, he is.
Special.
Yes, he is. He's a beast, man.
But yeah, that's just not a whole lot. That really wasn't exciting. But the Carolina's defense, I think they had like 6 sacks in this game.
See, you got to keep it down. That's really loud, whatever you're doing.
That we may be looking for. Derek Brown, big dude out of Auburn. Jeremy Chin, the safety. Their defense is kind of, not been, we think of Matt Rule, we think of offense, we think of, because that's what he's known for. But their defense, now I know it's the Jets, and I know it's week 1. I'm not trying to crown them as the defensive team of the week or nothing. But they had a good defensive showing on that game, and like I said, they had 6 sacks, and really Jets really could never get anything going. Corey Davis had a nice game, 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns. One of y'all old boys, but I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
He had a good game for the Jets, but overall, good
Good
win
for
for
him.
Carolina, and they can go 1-0. Jets 0-1. Still got to be looking at we're young, and they keep dropping players. Players keep falling. Mekhi Becton's hurt now.
Yeah, apparently he didn't come into camp in the greatest of shape. Already a really big guy who's had to really work hard to get his weight down in the first place. That's something that they were aware of when they drafted him, but it's something that's always going to be on the table with him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want to talk about the New York Jets too much. We got Jacksonville and Houston. We both whiffed on this one, man. Even though, again, like I said earlier, this is one of those games where I wanted to say something, chose to go with the on paper result, and in my mind, man, it felt like Houston is a team that's probably not going to be very good, but at least in the beginning of the season, with all of the veteran professionalism they have in the locker room, they're going to play for that coach and they're going to try to win. That was one of those things where I feel like I want to go with Houston, but I just don't think they're talented enough. But then it's like, hey, man, they came out and got it done. What can you say?
Right. I'm feeling the same way about that one, man. I felt like coming into the game that maybe Jacksonville was hungry for a win, and maybe Houston they're maybe trying to tank because they don't know what kind of quarterback they're going to try to get, and the best way to get a good quarterback is not have a good record. So I don't know if they even trying to win. So, and I like that. I like Lawrence. I think he had some good throws in that game and had some that had you scratching his head. You had scratching your head or whatever, but you're going to get that with a young quarterback.
Yeah.
29 for 51, 332, 3 touches. Also had 3 picks. A couple of them were kind of like, dude, you didn't see that safety hiding back. We didn't see that. We didn't anticipate it. But he's a rookie. So, but one thing I will say about this game, folks, y'all going to stop disrespecting Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, he's a vet. He's a vet, man.
Yeah. Y'all going to stop disrespecting Tyrod Taylor. 21 for 33, 291, 2 touchdowns, 40 yards rushing, solid game, no turnovers. Y'all going to stop this. Stop disrespecting.
I think I gotta add myself in the pot, man, because I wanted to pick them guys and I didn't. So
get off of Tyrod.
Yeah, man. Well, respectfully, man. Respectfully, man. I just, I like, to your point, and there's never any disrespect, but it's just I looked at it. Yeah. I felt like I do respect Tyrod. He's a vet. Mark Ingram's a vet. Brandon Cooks is a vet. You got a team full of guys that want to win. May not have the overall talent to do so. So it's like, but hey, man, kudos to them. They came out at home, put on a performance.
Before you get finished, though,
yeah.
Say this. Hats off to David Culley, man.
Yeah, for
dude,
sure.
Waited 20 some odd years to get his first head coaching gig, man. Good win, man.
Absolutely,
good win.
man.
Happy for the bro.
Absolutely.
Happy for him.
And it's always, for sure. Always happy for him and happy for them as a team to, come out and get a win and do something to overshadow the obvious in the background. We know what's in the background. But
in the background, yes.
As long as it, exactly, you come out, you play hard, you try to win, you can keep that in the background as much as possible with the situation still being what it is. So
let me do this before you flip the page. If you're Jacksonville, what are you saying? Because I'm hearing there's rumblings now that everybody not on board there. I mean, sometimes when you lose, especially games that nobody had Houston winning that game.
To me, I think. No, you can go ahead. I mean, if you're asking me as like on board for what, because I never expected Jacksonville to win a lot of games this season, although I did expect them to win this one. But, I mean, I think the better question is Urban Meyer going to even last the whole season here before he just takes the job at USC and gets out of there? I think, we talking about who's on board. If we talking about who's on board, is he on board? Is he the guy we talking about?
Right. That's where I was going with that.
I just kind of wouldn't be, shocked, man, if we get that on the ticker in a couple of weeks or, in the coming months with what I do expect to be, a rocky season. You got a rookie quarterback, granted. It's quote unquote generational, but growing pains come with it either way. So, I never really expected them to have a stellar season, and with that job now open over there,
I got them to 4 or 5 wins tops.
Yeah.
I thought 2 of them would be against Houston though, but whatever. Yeah, what do I know?
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think that's probably a guy who's a college coach. Who can have a lot of success on the college realm. USC would do well, from their standpoint, to get a guy like Urban Meyer to come in and build their program back up into what we know it can be when it's at its peak. And that just may be more appealing than coaching the Jaguars, man, at the end of the day. So, I wouldn't be shocked. All right, man.
We done with that. I just wanted to see what you thought. I knew you was going to delve into that, man.
Oh, yeah. We see.
That's an issue. That is an issue, so,
We see the writing on the wall a little bit with that one.
A little bit.
Cleveland at Kansas City. This was a good one, man.
Good game, man.
This was a good game, man.
One of the best games of the decade.
Absolutely. And really, granted, you know me, so you know where I went with this one. I don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. You
almost nailed the score on the button, buddy. You almost nailed that right on the button.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't bet against Pat, but I did expect Cleveland to come out and fight and make it a really good game, and they did. So shout out to them, man. They really did. Found out, early in the day Odell wouldn't be suiting up. So, big time target that everybody's excited to see, who ultimately did not play, but Cleveland didn't let that stop them, man. They went out there and they got involved, they got busy, they got up in the game, and they got Patrick Mahomes. What can you say, man? The guy scrambles out right, flips a 75-yard bomb off his wrist, and just, I'm starting to think he's got the serendipitous fortunes of the world on his side, man, because he just does stuff and just changes games off a dime, and it's just like, okay, maybe this guy is just living right, man. I don't know. So I'm watching, man. It's like, okay, Cleveland's got the momentum, they got the lead. Yeah, I just scrambled out right, flick one up to Tyreek. He down there somewhere.
One play.
One play, and it's like the game's changed
like
now.
All that he went to nothing.
Yeah, man. When you playing a guy like that, it's ridiculous, man.
I got a perspective on that, though, man.
Yeah.
I was listening to somebody the other day that was talking about why plays like that work for Kansas City, and I know you mentioned maybe Pat just living right or something. But somebody, I don't know what I was listening to, but they said what ends up happening is those guys that are covering Tariq. Now everybody knows Tariq is ridiculously fast. Mm-hmm. So when it looks like he's going to go deep, them corners are in such a panic mode. Like, I can't let him get behind me. That maybe you're in such a mode that I'm trying to get to the spot that maybe you're off balance, you're out of position when he turns to make his break because you're such a frenzy to get back. Because if you just blink your eye, he's 10 yards behind you. That he's able to, Pat can just throw it up and and Tariq can just go and adjust to the football because the cornerback is in such a mad panic to get back in the position that don't have his bearings in place where he can locate the football. And Tyreek takes advantage of that kind of stuff. I mean, dude, Pat was off balance, basically falling out of bounds and flick the thing 50 yards in the air. Who does that?
Who does that? Only him. Only him, man.
I mean, and I'm trying to think, wasn't that John Johnson? Wasn't that Johnson?
I believe so.
Was back there?
Yeah. And that's a mismatch in terms of having a safety matched up on Tyreek down there. But the point is, like, it's an off-script play because he scrambles out and he just has to make something happen and he just throws up a bomb. And, that's what I mean. It's like, who else does this kind of stuff work for? Who else does this stuff? It's just him, man. It's just him. It's just, like, to your point and the reference point you used, it's Tyreek's ability to understand he has a generational guy that nobody else has, who can just put a ball up there in a perfect position for him to come down with it, man. He does his job on the other end as far as realizing what you said, hey, I've got this guy out of position. I can go up here, snatch this. He does that thing where he catches it, then he sort of jumps back 2 yards backwards in order to catch his speed and momentum faster and get himself more space to go around you. And it's just like, yeah, he's gonna be chunking the deuces in a second, and that's it for you.
Yes, sir.
So
But I have to think, man, most corners when they see Tyreek Hill, they're in panic mode already.
Yeah.
Because like, oh my gosh, I got to do everything right. And when he hits that gear, you're in panic mode. It's like, I can't get beat deep. And then he just stops and comes underneath, and then you off balance because you got to get back to him. And like he's like, peace. Going right by you for a 70-yard touchdown, one play.
It's over.
We had a 12-play, 80-yard drive to get a touchdown. We get it half of three-quarters of it back in one play. What you gonna do now? Okay. One other thing, I will admit, our Baker played a good game.
He did, man. Shout out to him.
321.
He really did. He did, man.
But I'm gonna tell you something. When you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, you can't make no mistakes, man. I don't know what that punter was doing.
Everybody's gonna, and I'm pretty sure everybody has like ragged on the punter because it was a bonehead play, sure. But it's like, to me, okay, it's like, who knows the mind of a punter sitting over there, and all his focus has to be on is putting the ball in a position. I kick it, I put it in a position. Like, he doesn't have to think about a lot of things. So when you put him in a situation where the play goes wrong and now he's having to think about different things, who knows, like, what they,
oh snap, what do I do now?
Who knows what they come up with, so it's like, hey, do you really want to bag on the punter? Instead, do you want to focus on the terrible interception Baker Mayfield threw?
That's what I was getting to. You can't make mistakes, special teams, and then Baker, goodness, it's 50 seconds left in the game. You can't throw that.
No.
Throw the thing in the dirt.
No.
You can't throw that. And I was like that, and if you notice his reaction, he's beating the thing. He's like, dang, I know I'm gonna be hearing about this tomorrow because it's like that's par for the course. That's what that guy does. He makes plays, but when the game's tight, he kind of like it's 3 and out, and then a pick.
You can't do that, man. He did
no,
it.
You can't.
You
Not
can't
against
do
that
it.
guy.
No, you
Not
can't do it. You
that guy.
did it, and you lost. And
you can get away with that against a Tyler Haneke or against a whatever. You're playing that dude. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No, man, you can't. And
that was an exciting game, man.
It was a really good game. It was one of the best games. Anyhow, great win for Kansas City as expected. And Cleveland, I do think, again, you did a great job as a team overall. Man, so talented on both sides of the ball. Seeing Anthony Schwartz go out there and catch passes is like, he's a classic example of a guy who
he's fast too now.
He's more than he's one of the fastest, but it's like
he's burned us a couple times.
Yeah, he's a burner, but it's like it's so interesting because he's one of them guys, man, where it's like he's a burner, but he was still learning how to play the position in college. But Cleveland may actually see the peak of his abilities. There's a great chance in Cleveland he gets a chance to truly blossom into a real receiver, and utilize the ability to have nuance at the position, but also have Tyreek Hill level speed. Because he's that kind of fast, you know.
Right, he's fast. That's a fast
So
dude,
it's
man.
like, man, that guy becoming a gem would be just so interesting, man, because I really think the best of his playing days are to come. And same could be said for Donovan Peoples-Jones, another guy, you know, a young receiver.
Yes.
So I just think, man, Cleveland, you know, and Cleveland will have tough decisions as far as cap casualties coming up, but you know, with those two guys and they're able to develop.
Let me say this. Let me jump in here, man. You know, to be perfectly honest, man. Let me just kick it out here for you, man.
I know you're gonna jump out this window. I expect it. That's why I set you up. You set me up. I set you up. You set me up early. I'm setting you up now. I know where you're going.
When you look at Cleveland.
Yeah.
Aside from the quarterback position, they're better at Kansas City. They're in position. Mm-hmm. Offensive line, Cleveland, right? Okay. Running backs.
I like Kansas City's offensive line. They're just young, but I would go with Cleveland on the surface. Yeah.
Defensive line, Cleveland, because they got Garrett and they got Clowney, okay, and they got some other guys, and they got some other, you know, basically they got Chris Jones and I think Frank Clark didn't play.
He didn't play.
Don't sleep on Clay, and Honey Badger didn't play either. So those are good players too. But
that's two of your.
You got to go with Cleveland. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
So wide receivers, you know, I like Tyreek Hill, but if I go with the whole of the group, you got to put Odell in there. You got to put Odell, Peoples-Jones. What's his teammate from LSU? I can't think of his name.
Jarvis Landry, Juice Landry.
Yes, Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry. And then you throw in Anthony Schwartz. You know.
They're talented, man. I mean, you know, to your point, they match up well with Kansas City. They really do. So if they do happen to see them again in the playoffs, at least you walk into that game probably in Arrowhead again, knowing that, you know, hey, we got a team that can match up. You know, whether or not we can have a few plays go our way against the guy that's living right, I don't know. But we definitely walk in on the field feeling like we've got more than enough talent to do so. And that's kind of the consensus of that game and why it was so important as a positive for them. But let's keep it moving, man. I set you up. Well, sidebar, I set you up thinking you were going somewhere way different, but you didn't. You didn't jump out there. That's fine.
What you thought? Well, what I was going to say is that, you know, Andrew Berry has laid out a blueprint on a great team using the rookie scale of what you're paying Baker, so that you can put this elaborate team around him. And at some point, they're going to have decisions to make. It's like, man, we got this team that's ready-made to win, because we are solid at every position except behind center.
It's going to sound like you know.
And don't get me wrong, I think Baker's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a bum. He's not a bum. He's a good quarterback.
Because the thing about it, you know, to me, and again, this probably will sound blasphemous now, but maybe in 8 months, not so much. There's a high cap hit that you're going to receive from Odell and Landry, that if you cut those guys and you pay Baker, then you solve the money issue. And so then it becomes like I said, it sounds blasphemous today, but it's something to check back in 8 months from now, and then be one of them things like, hey man, you know, I kind of see the writing on the wall, but I won't jump out that window. I thought you were going there because I was ready to go there with you if you did, but it's just something I've been thinking about and monitoring with this team. Is like, I kind of feel like the Odell Beckham marriage with the Cleveland Browns will come to an end at the end of this season as a cap clearing move, you know. Right. Cost cutting, because we got to pay our quarterback.
I was kind of hoping to see him play some, just to kind of see and he's a scratch for this week too. I've read, so I'm like, goodness, I'd like to see the guy. What you kind of want to see what he could do with that. You would have liked to have seen what he could have done Sunday. You know, maybe that might have been the difference. You know, we don't know. You know, so I don't know. I guess I didn't jump out the right window. Sorry.
No, it's fine, man. It just may not be time yet. It's something that, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so we got Miami at New England, man. Keep it brief here. It was a pick 'em from the start. You went with New England.
Yeah.
I went with Miami. Either way wouldn't have surprised me. And indicative of the score, 17-16. It's like, two young quarterbacks could have went either way. Miami ended up winning it. I don't have much for this one.
I was kind of didn't care which way it went. Each way I was going to be happy. Each way an Alabama quarterback was going to be winning.
Yeah.
I thought Mac Jones had the better game.
Breaking up a little bit, Fred.
Showed a lot of poise, 29 or 39, 281 and a touchdown. I think they gave him enough. When I say Josh McDaniels gave him enough rope for him to operate with, but not enough rope to hang himself with, if you understand where I'm going with that.
Got you.
I think they gave him enough to digest, but not give him too much to choke on.
Of course.
As far as the playbook, as far as his options, as far as like when you come to the line of scrimmage, these sorts of things. And I thought he played with a lot of poise. He made some nice throws, man. Tua, the interception he threw when he was out, dude, you can't do that in the NFL, man. That's just only 1-5 can run out of the pocket and fling one off your back foot like that, and you don't have the arm strength for that. That's he'll learn though. He'll learn.
Yeah.
Overall, he had a solid game. 16 for 27, 208, a touchdown, and that kind of a bad interception. But he did have a nice touchdown throw to Waddle. And he played a solid game, and that's a good win for him. My goal to the game, Damian Harris, bruh, you gotta hang on to that football. That's a win for y'all if you just hang on to the football. You can't do that and go back to the side. You knew you couldn't have done that 2 years ago when you was playing at Bama and go face that guy on the sideline after you done turned the ball over in a crucial situation. Yeah. It's just like we used to say back in the day, boy, you was raised better than that.
That's a good.
That's what they say back in my day when kid had good parents, grew up well or whatever and stuff, and he go out and do something crazy. Boy, you wasn't raised like that.
Right.
Come on, Damien, you better than that. That kind of obscures a pretty good game for him. He had 23 carries, 100 yards. That was a good, solid game from him. But that costly fumble kind of, I don't know where they go from there. I know they play the Jets next week. Maybe that's the chicken soup the New England needs. We'll see.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's all I got on that one, man. That's about the kind of game I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a pick 'em. It was a 1-point game. And if he'd have held on to the ball and kicked the field goal, it would have been a 2-point game the other way. So that's kind of how I figured it was going to go. So nice, tight defensive game. Two fundamentally sound teams. A lot of good hitting. It was what it was. It was what it was.
Cool. All right, man. Let's move forward because we have a doozy to cover. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers went into Jacksonville, I believe, to play New Orleans, and they came out of there scoreless as far as touchdowns. Where do you begin with this one? This was the strangest result of Sunday, despite so many. It's the strangest.
I know you see my facial reactions here, right? I know you kind of see me like.
Well.
TK, dadgummit, I don't want to go here.
Yeah, you might
I'm not.
Oh, do it, Fred. You might as well. You might as well. You might as well. We all thinking it.
Look, man, I'm gonna say this, bruh. Aaron Rodgers, when you kick up that much dust in the offseason and you come out with a stinker like that, I mean, you know me, man. I'm one of these type of, me, you go back and forth on this kind of stuff because, I don't like whiny players, man. I don't like players that's, hey, they're not treating me right, dude. Go play. I'm that kind. I like, I'm an alpha male kind of thinking. Go just do what you do, man, and stuff will forward. You kick up that much dust, man, and then you get everybody on your side, man, because they did do some things to him that weren't right.
Yeah,
I agree.
For sure.
Okay, some of that stuff, I'm like, come on, bring it back. You did what?
Yeah.
You did that and didn't even give him a phone. Come on, dude. I mean, I'm kind of bust on Aaron for making whining about it, but organizations have been doing that for years, for decades. But I know times are changing, in that regard, and that people are doing things more in a better way than they used to do them. I get all that, but dude, when you kick up that much dust in the off season, they're at preseason workouts and stuff, and you in Hawaii chilling. Dude, you can't come in with that game afterwards. It just looked like he wasn't even in the game, man. I mean, some of the picks, he threw 2 picks, horrendous picks. Now, the one that he threw where he was in the pocket, he kind of was under duress and threw it behind Devontae. I might give him a half a pass on that one because he was under pressure, and according to him, he was getting. I'm not gonna say that on this is a family show. Let's just say he was getting hit in the man region. Okay, that's what he said. But the one he threw out of the end zone, what the heck was that? I mean, it's just like you punting the football. What the heck was that? That's not the Aaron Rodgers I know. That guy, second only to maybe Patrick Mahomes, makes some throws. You be like, how the heck? The throw he made to beat us in the playoffs a couple of years ago, I'm not sure anybody in the history of the NFL can make that throw. Cross his body, hits a pinpoint target to Jared Cook falling out of bounds. Go back and Google that. That might be one of the best passes I've ever seen. It's almost like he dropped the pass on a pinhead from 35 yards across his body, and it landed right there. That guy can do some special things with the football. So when you see him and he's kind of like, I'm just flipping around, I'm just throwing the ball around. I'm just kind of, I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope it's just a bad game. Because it's only just one game. Because as bad as it is, it's only one game. And I know we love to be in the overreaction business. We love to overreact. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is garbage. Look, he don't even care. It's one game. It's one game. But I will say, if you kick up that much dust in the offseason, can't come to the first game and play that bad. What were we, 15 for 28, 133 and 2 picks? That's a free agent practice squad quarterback numbers. What are we doing here? You are the freaking MVP of the league. I'm ranting now, I guess.
That's why we're here.
You are the freaking MVP of the league. This dude, this guy, if you look at his stats, this guy has 440 or some odd touchdowns with 90 interceptions. Nobody has a touchdown to interception ratio that's that lopsided. And you throw these passes, it's one game, but, this one of them games, man, there's something that look right with that. That's all I'm going to say about that. But good win for New Orleans. Good win for Jameis. Very efficient. 148 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's like one of them games where a Power 5 school's playing like a 1AA school, and you only playing like 2 quarters. throw for like 175 yards and 5 touchdowns. You sit the rest of the game, and the other guys get to play, and you win 75-3. But except they only won 38-3. But anyway, I'll turn it over to you. But that was and another thing. Shout out to Sean Payton. I will tell you, like I tell you last week, I'll tell you, Sean Payton is one of the most creative, innovative play callers we have seen in our game. That guy can take chicken, make chicken soup out of it. People got to start wondering, hey, how good can that New Orleans team be? But if that guy's calling the signals, man, they got a chance to do some things. And then, of course, defensively, you got Cameron Jordan and what's my man's name in the secondary? Ohio State played a great game. Had Devontae Adams on lock, 5 catches, like 58 yards.
Marcus Lattimore,
yeah. Marcus. Sorry, Marcel. Where I get that from? Good game, good solid game. Kind of had Devontae Adams on lock. He made a couple of catches, but it would have been good to get some help from your quarterback, though. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna turn it over to you now. I'm done with that. I'm done.
I sat here and I embraced everything you said on one of your epic rants, and I'm just gonna jump out here and say it since you didn't, and I don't think people want to. Let's stop underestimating Aaron Rodgers' ability to say, F it, I don't care. I will be this petty and spank this organization and teach you a lesson. I'm going to come out here and play like crap. So what?
I hope that's not the case, man.
Everything you just said describes very uncharacteristic behavior on the field for Aaron Rodgers, so why does it happen? Other than, hey, man, I don't care, and to your point, it's like, do I expect a whole?
Get you to the organization, basically, right? What you're saying?
Do I expect a whole season of that? No, but seeing this result and seeing the nonchalant approach afterwards, look, I can just be a guy just out in the world speaking my mind with this one, man. Aaron Rodgers spanked the organization Sunday. I'm gonna come out here and put a stinker up. I'm choosing choice words because this is a family network. But that's what that is. When I look at that result and go back and look at that game, Aaron Rodgers deliberately wanted to send whatever powerful message he can. And I think that message was.
Let me ask you something. I hate to be jumping out of windows on stuff. Let me ask you something, TK. I want your perspective on this. If you're a teammate of his, if that's what he's if that's in fact what he's doing, if you're a teammate of his, how do you feel about that?
If you're a teammate of his, you already feel however you feel before that game. In terms of you already witnessed what happened in the off season. You already know that this is his final season in Green Bay. And a lot of the guys who are going to be free agents themselves or potential cap casualties recognize this is probably their last year in Green Bay. So it's one of those things like, are we just going to put on a face and try to go out here and win? Or is it going to be one of them things like it's a toxic environment? It was like this from the beginning once that off season went the way it did. And we look back, 8, 6, 7 months from now, and this season was a disappointment. And it's like, I guess we'll look back at the first game of the season like, hey, did you see how Aaron came out in the first game?
Yeah.
If we get one of these uncharacteristic seasons from the whole team, it's like we understand, man, it's a lot going on behind the scenes, and that isn't always conducive to winning, man. Sometimes I guess you can get through it and win. Other times it can just go way left. And
Right. Well, it's just like one of the things I always say. That's one of the reasons I picked Atlanta or Philadelphia. When your organization is kind of in disarray, sometimes that the disarray from the front office and to the players to the whatever, sometimes that spills its way over to the field, and it makes sometimes it's when you got a toxic environment. It's like you got um uh a dysfunctional household. You know, yeah, the kids ain't gonna be as good in school as they normally would be because you got dysfunction going on. You got arguing and fighting at the house. You got different things. So sometimes that spills its way onto the field. Sometimes the players can compartmentalize stuff and just go play. The field becomes their sanctuary, and I can just go play and get away from the noise and I can go play and don't even worry about that stuff. So it's just that's just my little spiel. I don't know if that resonates to nobody or not, but sometimes it's hard to function in dysfunctionality. That's all I'm saying.
To summarize it, man, because we still got 2 more games left. I think Aaron Rodgers was dead set on being traded, did not want to come back to Green Bay this season. Green Bay made it very uncomfortable for him and set the hard line. And ultimately, they came to a conclusion that is a conclusion, but it doesn't take away the animosity in the room. So choosing to come together and just get through this last season, it doesn't necessarily guarantee success. Because the animosity is still there. Like I said, I truly feel like Aaron Rodgers had set in his mind he wouldn't have to come back to Green Bay this season. And there's a guy in another sport attempting a hard line, and in this sport there's a guy that just had a failed attempt to try to coop. He wanted to create his own coop, go where he wanted to go, get out of there, and the organization said no. So when you bring that guy back, you might get
you don't know what you're getting when you get him back, right? That is very true.
So,
but I will say this, man. I will say this for the organization. They did get him Randall Cobb.
Yeah. All right, Fred. So we're gonna keep it moving, man. We're gonna keep it moving, man. You couldn't resist, I know. All right, man.
Moving on. What's next? Who's next?
Denver at New York. You nailed this one. I didn't. Definitely thought New York would come out and put up more of a fight. Just wasn't the case, man. I said, you said it, I said it, but I did go the other way. But Bridgewater is sturdy, man. Denver has a great team. They got a lot of talent, and he won't lose you games. So they went out there, they won it. New York couldn't take it from them. At the end of the day, that's all it was. They couldn't take it from him, and Bridgewater's a guy that's not going to lose it. A lot to work with on both sides of the ball. That's where I'm at with this one, man. Like, they did great. New York, Saquon's not 100% healthy, so he's playing through setbacks.
Right.
Evan Ingram's, injured as well, so it's just, two important cogs of the offense going right now, and they got a quick turnaround coming up, so, it's just, hey, man. Don't know what to think of the Giants right now. Got to see them in action today, actually. But as far as their week 1 performance, just disappointing, man. But great for Denver. Really like Denver getting that win. A team that I think is going to grow on a lot of people as the season goes on. A lot of young talent in Denver on both sides of the ball, and a solid quarterback to lead them. So good for them, man. I like it.
I don't have a lot to add to that. Denver won. I will say this. I think Daniel Jones is getting a lot of flack for this game. And I didn't think that. Now, he did have a fumble late. He did get rocked pretty hard on that fumble. He didn't. Otherwise, he never turned the ball over. No interception. He just probably didn't make as many throws as they wanted him to make. He only come away with 13 points. He had like 260 some odd yards or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was. But Denver, I thought they were efficient. Teddy Bridgewater, 27 of 36, 264, 2 touchdowns. Melvin Gordon, 11 carries, 101 yards and a touchdown. Nice, efficient win. Von Miller. Bradley Chubb didn't even play. Yeah, that defense is going to be something to have to be reckoned with as the season goes along. One bad note or whatever, Jerry Jeudy carted off the field in the third quarter. It always hurts me when a Tide player either doesn't do well, gets hurt, or something like that. Man, carted off the field. They're reporting it as a high ankle sprain, and so it's probably handful of weeks, something like that.
Yeah, he'll be out for weeks, but even when he comes back, that's just one of those injuries, man. It sticks with you.
You kind of stuck with. That's not a regular ankle sprain. That's a high ankle sprain. That's on the opposite side of the ankle. It goes this way. When it goes toward the inside, that sprain. Most times when you turn your ankle, you turn it this way. The outside, like you step on a curb halfway and it just turns over. A high ankle sprain is it turns this way.
Yeah.
And they're a little harder to get over than a regular ankle sprain. Just in case our listeners don't know the difference between the two.
Definitely one of those lingering issues. Man, speedy recovery to him. I guess we know he'll come back, but even when he does, man, it's just something he's gonna have to endure throughout the season. So unfortunately,
right.
But still, even with that, Denver has it's pretty solid receiving core, absent of him. So yeah, man. I mean, hey. Like Denver, despite that unfortunate news, still like Denver. So we'll see what happens with them as the season goes on. 2 more games actually to cover, so let's get into it. Chicago at Los Angeles. Hey, man, I'm out the window with this one.
We're just like we said, man.
I love the Rams.
I think you made a score almost right on the head, man.
Yeah. I love the Rams, man. I love what I saw Sunday night. Matthew Stafford pushed the ball down the field. That offense is going to be exciting. That defense is Jalen Ramsey is going to swarm. Aaron Donald's going to wreak havoc. They have everything you want, man. Like, honestly, they're just an exciting team. I expect a lot of points, a lot of fun, a lot of wins. Again, they're in the toughest division in football in my eyes. So they're going to have a lot of battles. And in that division, you have exciting quarterbacks that they're going to clash with. So you're going to get really good games as a result. They're one of the fun teams in the league, man. So other side, Andy Dalton started for the Bears.
Andy Dalton was Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton was Andy Dalton.
Yeah. You're kind of already behind the 8 ball if that's the decision. Don't know how long that's going to last before they just finally let Justin Fields unleash and do his thing. I don't have too much for the Bears. Rams, exciting. Can't wait to watch them next week. One of my teams to watch, man. They're fun. I like it.
Yeah. There's a narrative out there. The game was what it was. I figured it was going to be like that. The Rams just have too much firepower. Deshaun Jackson, Cooper Kupp. Oh, God, that's a great route runner. Great route runner.
Absolutely.
What's the other kid's name that caught a couple?
Van Jefferson. Let me help you. Van Jefferson.
Yeah. Van Jefferson.
Sean Jefferson is a wide receivers coach, and that's his son.
Right? Yeah, right. Man, you making me feel old. I remember his daddy when he played, man.
Yeah.
I guess I'm showing my age on a lot of things. I remember Asante Samuels when he played. All these guys, Cameron Jordan. I remember his dad played Steve Jordan for the Vikings, man. God, man, I'm getting old, man.
That's Uncle Fred, man. That's why you're here, for the veteran wisdom.
But there's a narrative out there. And then we're going to go on to the next game. He said, I was listening to some of it last night. A lot of people are actually are pulling for Matthew Stafford to fail because, well, he didn't do anything in Detroit. I'm like, look, man, I don't think people realize the level of dysfunctionality the Detroit Lions are. Do you not know? This is just information for our listeners. In the Super Bowl area, they've been playing Super Bowl since the year I was born, 1966. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but whatever. They've been playing Super Bowl since 1966. We're talking about 50 some odd years, 55 years, right? 55, 56 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that the Detroit Lions are one of 4 teams that have never been to one? The other 2 being Cleveland and Jacksonville and Houston. Jacksonville and Houston only came to the league in 1995 and 2003, respectively.
Expansion teams.
So the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions are old school teams. They were playing football in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 30s. Never been to a Super Bowl. Okay, that speaks to a level of dysfunctionality in the front office and how you hire your coaches, how you hire your GMs, your drafting process, different things. When you have 2 bona fide stud players in the prime of their careers just quit and say, you know what, man, I'm done. You know, Barry Sanders is probably the top 5 best players ever. Anybody ever, I'm telling my age again. Go to Google and look up Barry Sanders' greatest runs and tell me what you think. That dude was something else, man. And for him to year 10 is like, you know what, man, I don't want to do this no more. And he probably easily could have played 4 or 5 more years, 15,000 yards in 10 years. What's the guy that just got admitted to the Hall of Fame, wide receiver?
Calvin Johnson.
Probably, yeah. Just said what? Like year 9. And you know what? I'm done. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
It tells me the Lions have never been great. They still aren't. And Matthew Stafford is going to succeed in a great offense that McVay has for him in Los Angeles. And right. I don't discredit him for having to play for the Detroit Lions for 12 years.
Right.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
it's just kind of one of them things, man. I really didn't have a lot for it. Calvin Johnson, to this day,
Calvin Johnson, yeah, that's it. Calvin
one
Johnson.
of the best receivers ever.
Yeah.
Who still has a gripe with the Detroit organization.
Let me tell you how the Detroit Lions are, man. I know we're out of time, run out of time, but just to give you context, I like to provide context. If anybody knows Barry Sanders is one of the most humble, soft-spoken, just one of them guys you want to have on your team. Okay, does the most dazzling touchdown, has the ball to the ref, don't talk, just plays for his teammates, does all that stuff. And you're the Detroit Lions, you're probably one of the most downtrodden franchises, and you get one of the most special players that's ever played the game. I say he's probably a top 5 all-time ever player to play for your organization. He decides he retires. You go back and you take money from him. They asked for like a couple of million dollars back from him. From Barry Sanders.
From Calvin Johnson. That's who they are. So I love, because that's why we here. You're able to provide context, real context, and sort of get into the historical back end. But so that's
easy with that historical stuff, man. I ain't
respectfully, man. But I say that to say, yeah. But I say that to say, man, seriously, it's valuable, and I'm glad you did that. But it's also, for me, it's always going to be a point of contention where, when you have, organizations and people, because these are people. The organization is people.
Right.
You have people who choose to, operate and navigate in this way, man. It's, different sport, whole different thing. But I'm a Laker guy, so I see my favorite team's organization, treat people a certain way that have come through and done great things for the organization. So, I just say that to say, when you're talking about.
And I just wanted people. To, I'm not trying to cut you off. I just wanted people to understand, that maybe just saw all the dazzling runs and all that kind of stuff. Barry Sanders was probably one of the classiest, decent players that's ever played. If you ever knew, and I'm just saying, you did that to him. That just really you did that to this guy.
Yeah, and for that,
played, showed up every day, played, was never hurt, showed up every day, humble, worked hard, dazzled you, made was the reason you went to the Silverdome or to Ford Field is to see this guy. He lifted the organization. You did this to this guy. So that's just why I wanted to make sure people understood that's the kind of dude that dude was. And you chose the Cowboys would never would have did that to Emmitt Smith. That's what I'm saying. About the Cowboys, they wouldn't have done that to him because of what he meant to their organization. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And that's the point, and that's all the point I wanted to make. We're not going to continue to grace that terribly ran organization with more conversation. No. Yeah. Nah. It gets no love over here. No more dissertation for those people. Shout out to Matthew Stafford. He's in a great situation now. Great coach, playing out in LA.
Good dude, man. Good dude. Good dude, man.
Yeah, sure.
He's a good dude.
Sure. So, yeah, Rams fun team, man. Going places. Going places for the first time in his career. So that's a good thing for him. Shout out to him. All right, last game, man. One of the more fun games. Let's wrap up here.
Wacky game, man. Wacky.
Yeah, listen, man. Lamar Jackson, one of my personal favorite players in the NFL, who you would know was one of my favorite players before the NFL at Louisville. I really latched on to him his freshman year there, and then just.
I hope you ain't about to bash him.
No, I'm not setting this up to bash one of my guys.
Okay.
I'm going
the other way.
Yeah, I say that to say, I have an allegiance to the guy, so I do have a certain bias lens, but I do have to acknowledge carrying the ball away from your body. He gave up two as a result of doing that. Yeah. So, bad, poor protection of the ball. Exciting as he is and dazzling as he is, man. And he just made several plays Monday night. The guy is just amazing, man. But he put the football on the ground. He's special, man. He put the football on the ground 2 times due to having the ball away from his body. So I do have to acknowledge that. But even in that, this is a bad loss. It's a bad loss for the Ravens, especially not only because it's a game that they're supposed to win, but it's also a game where you could have won it, like you had the game. And so, costly turnovers from the man himself. One of the positives I thought, I really like what I saw from Hollywood Brown. He seems to be, revitalized, fully healthy. He had some injury problems that he dealt with all last season. Seems like he's got his burst back. I like that. Really interested to see how they're going to integrate Rashad Bateman, their first-round receiver, when he does come back off of injury. But let's talk about the obvious, man. Listen, as dazzling as amazing as Lamar Jackson is, there were runs, called plays that I saw Monday night, and it's like, look, man, respect to your process of representing yourself, and I love that. But because that's not the point of where I'm about to go. But it's like, aside from your contract negotiations, you need to have somebody in your corner that's telling you, hey, man, don't let. I know they love you. Don't let this organization ruin your body. Cam Newton Cam Newton played like a running back for the Carolina Panthers. You know what happened? They released him. You know where he's at right now at 32. Probably still can play. Doesn't have a job. You know why? Because people feel like his body was ran through the ground in Carolina, man. So I gotta say it because it's like I saw a couple plays and he's running into the fire.
He took some shots that night.
He's getting leveled and popped. And it's like you looking at this season, with him choosing not to negotiate his contract until after the season. And then he makes that conscious decision. Then the unfortunate happens, man. Literally all of your running backs get injured. And it's like, you know, I don't want that to then become, well, we lost all of our guys, so we're gonna have to switch it up and can Lamar lead the league in rush? And I'm like, if he has somebody close to him, man, it's no. Don't don't allow that narrative to breathe life into your reality. You do not need to lead the league in rushing. You do not need to carry the ball 25 times. No, don't. You are a quarterback, man. Quarterbacks deserve to be protected and play a long time. You happen to be the fastest and probably most exciting one in the league right now. But man, don't let them do that to you, man. Don't let it happen. And that's just that's me on my soapbox about a player I really enjoy and have liked from the beginning. But it's like I saw things Monday night, and we know the situation with the backfield. And it's like I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I really don't.
My take on it was that's why I didn't pick them for this game because I felt like Lamar's gonna have to do too much, and it's almost gonna be like one playing 11. And I don't like those odds when you're playing football. Now basketball, you could go 1-on-5. You could do that. I don't like it overall, but you could get away with it. It's real hard to go 1-on-11, man. And I didn't know what kind of running backs what kind of performance the running backs were going to have, since considering a couple of them came right off the street and they're coming in, got to adapt to a new system and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. But I saw Lamar Jackson do some things, man. I was like, that dude's just special. Then I saw him take, like you said, he took some shots in that game. And people got to remember, I know you made reference to Cam Newton. But see, the difference is Cam Newton is like 6'5" and like 250, 260. Lamar Jackson is maybe 210.
He bulked up a little more. I'd say about 220, 220, 225 probably now. He is more bulky.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
He's slight as shit.
But despite the point to be made is the point.
Yeah,
he's a slighter quarterback. Yeah.
He really don't need to be taking shots like that.
No.
That he be taking.
No. But my point is,
one of my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, but just to your point is like he's a quarterback, man. You're watching a league where there's a quarterback winning Super Bowls in his mid-40s. There are quarterbacks who are getting paid at 35, 36, who feel like, oh yeah, I got years left. The guy who got, ran in the ground, man, and is 32 and younger than all those guys is the guy who's on the outside looking in, man. So, it's like, I just want that to be understood for him. I just want for him to have people around him that are looking at that for him. Like, man, don't let these people ruin you like that, man, because you're going to give them 7, 8 great years and you be broke up by year 10 and you can't get a job, man. Like in a league where quarterbacks are playing for 20 seasons. Don't let them make you a typecast. Don't do that, man. You're a quarterback.
Don't let them make you where you're not playable in 7 years, basically.
Yeah,
that's the idea, because Carolina Panthers made Cam where he's not playable now because of the shots that he took, the punishment that he took. Now he's not what a normal 32-year-old supposed to be. Running quarterback power runs.
Yeah.
That seems weird to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that. I definitely get that.
And not to say their scheme is better, because that's relative, but you see the way Arizona, and granted he's more diminutive and smaller, But you see the way Arizona finds ways to get Kyler Murray out in space without just straight up, hey, halfback dive with the quarterback. It's like, no, we gotta get him rolled out, get him in some space, set up plays where he can succeed and get down, man. And it's like that's because we're gonna utilize the brilliant athleticism and dazzling ability of Lamar, man. Let's utilize that without him taking 4-yard dives up the gut.
I will say this though. At some point, Lamar got to learn in a play when the journey's over too.
It's true.
At some point you got to. The thing that Kyler had when Kyler gets what he gets, Kyler gets down. Same thing with Russ. When Russ gets what he wants to get, he gets down. You never see them take shots. Major shots. They know how to get down and whatnot. And I think the gamer that Lamar Jackson is sometimes makes him like to try things because he is Superman to me. He is, and he tries things, and so, and trust me, that organization will let you be Superman until you're not.
Yeah.
Until you're not. So while all of the pundits were criticizing Lamar for turning the ball over, I'm like, dude, he's carrying the whole freaking team. Do you not see what's going on? He's carrying the whole team. If you carry 10 pots of water, you drop one. I'm not knocking you for that. Can I carry some of them? You carry too much. So I didn't beat him up too much for that, man. He did miss a couple throws here and there, but everybody misses throws. I'm not gonna eat your lunch for that. He had a good game. But that was just a wacky game, man. And I'm gonna give you your kudos. You called it. Brian Edwards.
Yes, sir.
You called it.
Yes,
sir. Know that dude was.
Yes, sir. Brian Edwards, man.
That dude was, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, Brian Edwards, man. He's going. Yeah.
I didn't know he was.
Brian Edwards, man. He's going to be a key cog for them. That was a great catch for them in the third round. They got him. I remember specifically because he was a guy that I felt like the Titans might get. One of those gems out of the Southeastern Conference, South Carolina. But he ended up going to the Raiders, and he had a couple games last year before he got injured where he really did pop. It's like, hey, that's in my mind, knowing that's a guy to keep an eye on. Over there in Oakland, man. Is you look at their depth chart going into the season, it's like he's going to play. He's going to play, and as we saw in game one of the season, man, when they needed one, they went to him.
If you notice down the stretch, who were they going to? Brian Edwards and Hunter Renfrow.
Absolutely.
I'm about to rant right here too. I got to rant.
I know Henry Ruggs rant coming.
Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
Bruh, if you don't stop becoming a one-trick pony, you're gonna find yourself on other teams. Okay. I know you got speed. But there are other routes than the 9 route, right? You do know that, right? There are other routes other than the 9 route. You can't run hooks, comebacks, flags, pokes.
Now, Fred.
There are other routes.
I gotta come to his
what
defense.
It's looking like is guys like Brian Edwards are working harder than you to be able to get open and stay on. So in crunch time, man, they didn't even look your way. It's almost like you're a one-trick pony, dude. You better get in the lab, man.
I'm about to come to his defense, man.
Unheralded, was he third round?
Third round.
Yeah. He's gonna be getting playing time. You're gonna be sitting on the sideline. And Alabama players, I'm gonna roll with you, but I'm also gonna tell you when you got to do. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's get to work, man.
I'm hearing you, man. I'm just ready for my defense. Tell me when to take a stand, man. For Henry Ruggs.
Ruggs.
All right, man. Can I go? Listen, man. Listen, man.
We have the permissions now. Wow,
yes.
Man.
Listen, man. I got a lot to say about Henry Ruggs. Not a lot, but I have something to say about Henry Ruggs.
Okay.
I watched that game and several games last year for the Raiders because they're one of those, like, you never know what you're going to get teams. So it's kind of fun to watch them when you have it available to watch them. Cause it's really wacky. I just like that. But Henry Ruggs, uh, I listen. You have to build your offense around making that player more than just a gadget player. And here's what I mean. Like you drafted him to, and let's be honest, you drafted him to emulate Tyreek Hill. You had your Travis Kelsey, and like, okay, we want our Tyreek Hill. Here's Henry Ruggs, right? Correct. Andy Reid doesn't treat Tyreek Hill like a gadget player, right? And let's be honest, Tyreek Hill came into the league as a gadget player, as a really fast gadget player who was returning punts and kicks, and you put him in and you try to find ways to give him the ball because he got so much speed, unheralded out of Oklahoma State, right? But then he blossoms into this, what he is now, right? Now, granted, a lot of that is, to your point, the work of Tyreek Hill, but a lot of that is also Andy Reid saying, we're running routes for him. So when I'm looking at Oakland, I'm also seeing a situation where, in some ways, should he get open more? Sure, any receiver should. But are you giving him a route tree? Because it seems like he's running the same routes you're asking him to run. And that's a problem. Because it's like you gotta get this guy out in space with the ball in his hands. And it's like we've seen too many examples of when you have a player like that, you're able to do it to say, okay, well, the Raiders just can't figure it out. No, figure it out. Get the guy the ball, man. Get him out in space. Get him a couple. Your goal should be, hey, man, did Henry touch the ball 3 or 4 times by the time we're well into the second quarter? We had to establish the guy early. Just give him the ball. Give him a cross slant. Give him a bubble screen. Give him a short hitch. Hey, these plays may not be greatly successful in terms of eating chunks of the field, but if he's got 3 or 4 touches already and he's in a rhythm, so when he busts that 9 route and he can get behind somebody, it's like they're not prioritizing that. So if you're treating Henry like a gadget player, then you're just allowing him to be what he already was at Alabama, which was a superior gadget player. He was playing next to receivers who had much more of a route tree than he did, but he was able to just take advantage of that and go and make chunk plays. So it's like you drafted him almost as if you're asking him to have that same role, except we'll see what Brian Edwards becomes. But does he have, other guys that are going to be great first round pick talent receivers playing on the outside? Does he have that in Oakland to be the gadget player? I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. So it's like, I don't think that's why you would draft him so high to be that. So it's like, he's the first round receiver drafted. Exactly. So it's like, man, you drafting a guy that high. Exactly. And Oakland loves speed, and we all know that. And it's like, but you're it's easy pickings. And granted, you do have to get better and improve, but it's easy pickings to me to just say to him, hey man, you being a one trick pony. Yeah, but I kind of think Oakland's just that's all they asking for. That's all they asking for, man. Anyway, that's my Henry Ruggs spiel. We've been on here for a while. Uh, the Raiders, they got the win. You called it. Fun game. The Raiders, anytime, like I said, anytime I can catch a Raider game, I will, because I never know what I'm gonna get. Shout out to Josh Jacobs. He's a stud, man. He always has been. Yeah. Get over that toe injury though, man. He's gonna be he's gonna ball though. Yeah. Henry. Excuse me, not Henry. Darren Waller might catch 150 passes this season. I mean, you're gonna get targeted. He might have 175 targets too. if he's gonna get targeted 20 times a game, I mean, my God.
I want to him to compete for the ball a little better though. There was a couple of them I'm like,
you get 20 opportunities, I think he'll do something for you, Fred.
He's still a beast. That dude's a beast though.
Yeah.
He's a beast though.
20.
I ain't knocking him. Just saying,
We're joking, man, but it's like he's the talent to be targeted 20 times as a tight end and go out and have the ability to catch a majority of those is just amazing, man. So, yeah, they have a special one. Those Kansas City Oakland clashes this year, I think, could be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And that's a fun division as well. You look at that division; it's full of fun teams. So, yeah, the AFC, NFC West, man, they got a lot of positives going on out there, man. Fun divisions. But this is gonna conclude us, man. If you want to say a few things to sign us off, if not, man, we'll sign it. I do want to say something.
Other than man, it's just great to see the football back.
Yeah.
Like I said, all I can say is wow, a lot of surprises. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. That's all I'm gonna tell folks.
Yep.
Any given Sunday, anything can happen. That's why we love the NFL. That's
absolutely. And to the viewership, man, shout out to each and every one of you. Sub one, love one, get involved with us, and know that the approach here for Uncle Fred Rant's channel. I want to come on here. I want to give him that platform to speak and enjoy the conversations we've had for years and just do it and share it with you all. And that can be, as you're gonna see here, a 2-hour conversation, but we just having fun, man. So I would say, I know you may look at that on the surface and be like, wow, it's a long time. But I would just say, man, if you're working or if you doing things around the house, play us in your speaker in the background and just do what you do, man. And just let us, be the flavor in your ear while you're getting stuff done. And we just talking shop, man, talking sports, NFL in this particular instance, and we just having fun with it. So come and have fun with us, man. And sub one, like I said, Uncle Fred, we have a quick turnaround. We're gonna do our pick'ems for week 2. Post that as well, so they should be looking out for that too here in the short order. Yeah, man. So that being said, I know me and you are gonna turn right back around and do it all over again. But shout out to everybody. We signing off. Take care.
That's it.
That's it.
Right.